What is up, you guys? Welcome back to my channel. So happy Halloween, even though when you watch this it's not going to be Halloween anymore, but it is today, but you'll probably see this on Friday. And you're probably wondering why I'm wearing the same outfit that I had on in the previous video. Well, that's because I just filmed it earlier. So if you want to see how I got this makeup look, then go check it out wherever it is. I'll have it linked down below as well. Okay, so in spirit of Halloween, I should have done this video, like, I was actually planning it. Whew, I'm parched. Give me a minute. Today's video is going to be a story time. Now, this story time is going to be about the time that I almost got kidnapped. Whew. This is a story that I completely like forgot about, erased from my memory, until my mom kind of brought it up a couple weeks ago because we went and saw a psychic and ghosts were involved, and that's how me and my mom got talking about this, and I'm like, oh, what a great story time to tell. If you guys want to hear about the story of when I almost got kidnapped, then just keep on watching. Don't mind my rag because my eyes are watering because hashtag allergies. This story takes place way back in the day. I was probably 3rd or 4th grade, like 2001, around that time, and my sister was 4 years older than me. At the time, my mom was actually in college and she was going to school to be a physical therapist at the time, and she had to do her clinicals, and she actually had to go out of town to do her clinicals. So she would go out of town some weekends out of the month. It was just my dad, me, and my sister that were at home. Now, we grew up on a farm. My parents still live there, and it's an old, creepy ass house in the middle of nowhere, and it's a pretty big house, and it's just kind of creepy. It's just an old house. It's like so old, and yeah. So you automatically think that it's haunted. On my door, I had those beads that hang down. It was like the door. I'll insert a picture so you know what I'm talking about. So I had those on my door. Now, let me explain. I'm really bad at explaining things, so I'm going to try and do my best. Draw a picture for you. It was one weekend where my mom was out of town. She was like doing her clinicals for school, so it was just me, my dad, and my sister at home. And it was just a normal day. Normal evening. We all went to bed early, and let me explain how my house is and where all of our rooms were. So basically, you walk in the front door. Say you're walking in the front door, the steps are right in front of you, so you would just go straight up the stairs, and right at the top of the stairs is my sister's room. So to get to my sister's room, you have to go down the hallway. So the stairs go that way, upward, and the hallway goes this way. So you walk up the stairs and go back. Does that make any sense? Probably not. So anyways, so I remember I was in my bed, I was sleeping, and how my door was, like say I was laying back like this, my door was right here to this side of me, and it was like right there. And I had my beads hanging down, and I had my little lava lamp nightlight, but everybody did back then. I woke up out of my sleep, and I saw a man standing in my room. And the door was right here, and I saw him kind of over by where my closet was, so he was kind of in front of my bed. And I mean, I was still half asleep, you know when you're half asleep and you kind of don't see things. Well, the figure that I saw had long hair, so I said, "Mom?" And this person didn't say anything at all. And I opened my eyes and I kind of sat up like this. So how I was sitting on my bed, my door was right in front of me. I sat up and I saw the man. This man had, I remember to this day, everything that this guy was wearing. I remember everything. He had a wedding band on his left finger. He had these those windbreaker pants, and I remember they were a dark blue, like windbreaker pants with the Nike symbol on them. His shoes, he was wearing those white New Balance shoes, and he had a gray t-shirt on that was tucked into his pants. I remember this specifically, but the most important thing that I remembered, besides his face, because I didn't remember his face at all, it was dark, so I couldn't really see his face, but I could see everything else. His hair, he had long black hair, and it was down, so it was probably to about there. Well, at that time, my mom had long dark hair to about there. That's why I thought it was my mom. I thought she came home, something happened, and that's why I said, "Mom." and this person didn't say anything. And once I kind of opened my eyes and realized that it was not my mom, it was a man standing in my room, like, I panicked and I sat up. That's when I sat up, and this guy walked towards me and he said, "Don't freak out."
Well, duh, I'm a kid. Of course I'm gonna freak out.
And I bolted. Thankfully, he was over here, like over here, and I was right in front of my door, and my dad's room was right across the hall. So I just fucking bolted out of there. I threw the beads like that. I just went through, and I bolted to my dad's room, and I'm like, "Dad, Dad, 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 there's somebody in my room. There's a man in my room." And I was like freaking out. I was crying, and my dad was like, "No, it was just a dream." I'm
like, "No, it wasn't a dream."
Like, at no point was I sleeping and woke up in there, you know? I woke up and he was still there. It was not a dream. And he was like, "Okay, I'll go check the house." I know he was just doing that to, like, calm me down. So he got up. I was holding behind him, standing behind him, you know, like holding him. And he walked into every single room upstairs, turned the light on, walked in every room, checked underneath everything, checked inside of everything, every closet, behind every door, and then we walked down the stairs. And I said, "How did he get in?" My dad tried to explain to me that he locked every single door in the house. There's no way this person could have got in. All the windows were locked and all the doors were locked. And I was like, "Well, he got in somehow." So the first thing my dad did when he walked down the stairs, because the front door was right in front of the stairs, he went to grab it, to open it, to check if it was locked, and it opened. Well, for their door, you kind of have to push it in to lock it. I don't know if it's like that for most doors, but it didn't latch. So the door was unlocked, and he checked every single room. There was nobody there. He went down into the basement. Nobody was there. He checked outside. There were no cars. There was nobody. And he just said, "Go to bed. Go sleep in your sister's bed," because my sister was there. She was a few years older than me. And I went into my sister's room, and I remember that night I couldn't sleep. Like, I was so scared. Like, I thought this man was gonna come back and he was gonna take me and I was gonna be kidnapped. I was terrified. Like, I didn't know who he was, what he wanted, you know what I mean? It's basically the whole story. We didn't ever catch this person or find out who he was. My parents told me it was a dream. They didn't really believe it. And I remember I slept in my sister's room every day until I was in like 7th grade because I was so scared. If my sister wasn't home, I slept on my parents' floor. I was terrified. And I remember at the same time that this happened, a couple weeks later, my sister was home alone. It was after school one day. Both my parents were at work. I'm not sure where I was. My sister was home alone by herself. And she said that she saw a white van pull up into the driveway. Didn't recognize the van, so she locked the front door. She was scared. She was home alone, and she locked the front door. She saw this man walk up to the front, but he didn't knock. He didn't ring the bell. He just started looking in the windows like that. And my sister was kind of hiding because she was scared, and she saw him walk around the house, so she ran and she went and locked all of the doors. And inside of my parents' house, like, I think it's like this with all old houses, like outside, you can get into the basement from the outside. You pick that big door up and you go down under the house, and then you can get in to the house from the basement door. She went and hid in the bathroom, and because this guy was walking around looking in all the windows, she didn't know where he went at this point, so she went and hid in the bathroom, and she had grabbed the phone. She was trying to call my parents, wasn't getting a hold of them. I don't know why she didn't call the police at this point. Sudden, she heard the door, the basement door inside of the house. She heard him at the door, and he was like trying to get in, and she was just like bawling. She was hysterical, and he was trying to get in, and finally he stopped. And my sister had called my uncle at that point, and my uncle had came over, but right before he got there, the man had left. It was kind of weird. It was kind of coincidence. Like, I don't know, was it that same guy? Like, you know what I mean? It was kind of freaky. Let's move on to more of a present day. Actually, this was when I was 18 years old. I was working at Sam's Club. I was working in the bakery there. I always was the closer, and I would work from 1 to 9, and I was always there by myself. I remember one night there I was by myself, and this guy, he had walked back into the bakery department. I was looking at all the products, and I literally saw him, you guys, and I just like, it was a trigger for me, but I was like, that was the guy. That was the guy that was in my house. That was the guy that was trying to kidnap me. Like, I don't know, I looked at him for a second and I was like, that was him. He was older then, obviously, and he had like biker clothes on, but it was so creepy. Like, I just knew for a fact that it was him, and I still to this day think that that was the man. But the creepy part was, I was like young at that time, and he was like probably 65. I was putting product out on the floor, the sales floor, and I remember he had walked up to me, and I was shaking at this point, because then I was like, that was the guy that tried to kidnap me. And he had walked up to me, and he was being kind of creepy, and he asked like if the brownies were good or something, and I was like, yeah, they're okay. And he said, would you like to enjoy them with me at my house for dinner? And I like didn't know what to say, and I said, no. I said, I'm only 17, even though I was, you know, I was 18, but here in Iowa, a legal adult is 18, so that's why I said that. He was like, oh, maybe when you turn 18, and blah, blah, blah. I was terrified, and at that time, I wasn't dating my boyfriend, and I called one of my friends, and I said, can you come here and like walk outside with me when I get off work? Because I thought this man was waiting out there. I thought he was gonna take me, and luckily he didn't. I was safe, and I would see him come into Sam's Club all the time, and he always asked for me. So it's like, I don't know if he was stalking me my whole life and I didn't know, or what the problem was, like, or it was just a coincidence, or it wasn't the guy, but it looked like him and I thought that, but like, I know it was that guy. Like, it scared the shit out of me. He would always come into Sam's and he would ask for me, and I would always hide. Finally, my manager told him to, like, he can't be doing that. He can't be going in there and being weird, you know what I mean? And so I never saw him again. And luckily, I don't live there anymore. I don't work there anymore, so I don't have to see him. The only reason this story came up was me and my mom went and saw the psychic a few weeks ago, and she was mentioning something about a ghost. And my mom said she swears up and down that that man that I saw was a ghost. And I told her, how could it be a ghost? I said, I knew everything he was wearing, but like, a ghost wouldn't be wearing clothes that were trendy at that time. Do you know what I mean? They would be wearing a dress from the 1800s. He was wearing clothes that people wore at the time that it happened, so it didn't really make sense. But that's why it got brought up. Me and my mom were talking about it, and I was like, maybe I'll make a story time. I don't really know how interesting it is to you guys, but I think it's fucking creepy and weird that I almost got kidnapped or killed. I don't know what, why would that man be in a little girl's room? You know what I mean? It was just weird and creepy, and it still to this day scares me. Like, even as an adult, I get scared when I'm alone. Like, it's because of that, and I don't know, it's just creepy. So that's basically it for this story time. I don't know how interesting it'll be to you guys, but I hope you guys enjoyed it. I hope it was something spooky, even though Halloween's over, October's over. It's November already. Well, tomorrow. It's October today, but when you see the video. Anyways, I hope you guys enjoyed the video. If you do, give it a thumbs up. Also subscribe if you are new here, and I'll see you guys in my next video. Bye!